Guys, welcome to the channel. What we're going to do today, this is a 2002 Nissan Xterra. Been having a lot of air conditioning issues, and I got it all straightened out, only to find out my real issue was right down here. This guy right here. You see this clutch? Well, there's a big gap there. That gap should be only about 6 thousandths. Turns out I measured this last night. That is 25 thousandths, and the problem is when I turn the air conditioner on, sometimes this does not engage. If you hit it with a tap it with a hammer, or just push it in just a little bit like this, see how that gap kind of closes up? That will kick on, and the air conditioner will run right there. See that? So what I'm going to try to attempt to do is take this bolt out here, take this off, and see if there's a shim behind there. And if it's there's a shim behind there, if I take that shim out, it may let this sit a little closer. I may actually take care of my air conditioning clutch issues, but we got to get this off of here. There's a 10mm bolt on there. I may have to take off a couple other things here real quick. Okay, now basically how I get these clutch housings off on the front, I take a couple pair of vice grips and grip the front of it here, and get the back of the magnet here, the housing, and this will kind of keep this clutch housing here, the front of it, from turning. Hopefully I'll look in here and see if there's any shims, or the shim is too thick. Now my idea is, if I take this off and there's a shim behind here, if I take the shim out, hopefully this will close this up a little bit and get us down to maybe 10 thousandths. So what you got to do is get you a little socket like this, 10mm, and see if I can get this on here with one hand and hold the camera at the same time. See if we can break this bolt loose. Sometimes they're easy and sometimes they're not, it just depends. Alright. Actually I got it. It was easier than I thought. Alright, so I'll drop my socket here, so we'll go ahead and see if we can get this out the rest of the way with our fingers. And I've got oil on here, and I'm hoping if I tap it a bunch of times this will come off, but sometimes these can be a bear to get off. They just slide on and off, so what are you going to do? So always check your gap, your clutch there, and make sure it's not, terrible. Alright, so there's the bolt. Let's get this out of the way. And let's get these guys out of the way here, and get the other one here. And this should release that clutch housing here. And as you can see, I can turn it with my hand now. Boy, look at that gap. I can actually see all the way through there. I don't know if you can or not. Like I said, that's no 10 thousandths of a gap. If I push with my thumb, that gap should be about like that, 8 to 10 thousandths. So see if we can get this off next. I'm gonna take a couple of screwdrivers and pry in here and take a hammer and kind of tap on this a little bit. Maybe we can just slowly pull it off, and that'll be sweet because we won't have to disconnect anything else. Alright guys, I spent 15-20 minutes trying to get that thing loose. I got a couple pair of screwdrivers there, trying to get that apart, and I got the bolt out, and I thought, well, maybe there is a clip in there, but there's no clip, just a bolt. That's all there is. So that thing is really on there. So I just kept, my worst fear is I'll end up having to replace this. I may bend it too much, but it doesn't matter because it's got to come off regardless in order to get the gap set right. So we'll go ahead and I may put another screwdriver on this side over here. There'll be 3 in there. We'll keep tapping with that hammer and see if we can get this out of here. Alright guys, well, I started out with good intentions, but I haven't gotten anywhere. It's been a half hour. I've gotten screwdrivers behind there. I've tapped, hit. Obviously it's got to come off now because it's bent. And I thought, well, maybe I'm missing something. I checked again, and there's no clips down there. There's just a bolt that holds that on there. And I've seen on forums other guys have the same issue, so I don't know. I'll just keep hitting it. Eventually it's got to come off, but you can see the gap now. I mean, it's a huge gap. And I can actually take my fingers here and turn it. But you would think by now it would start to come off on that housing there, but maybe if I just keep working and playing it, if I keep putting the vibration on, I'm hoping it'll break it loose from the shaft.
but I don't want to put too much pressure on. I'll end up bending the shaft and damaging the pump. I mean, I can get a brand new pump with everything complete for $100, but I don't want to. I mean, this one's fine. All I need is a clutch now. I'll probably get one for $20 somewhere. But all right, so we'll come back here in a little bit. We'll keep hitting on this and tapping it, and maybe we'll get it off there eventually. But this is the only thing that's holding that on there. I even checked online. Didn't I miss something? But this is the only thing holding this clutch plate on there. So all right, well, back to work, guys. We're getting somewhere here. It's starting to come off finally. Boy, this is not for the lighthearted, that's for sure. And if I hold the light here just right, you probably can see. Get my light here on this mirror. You can see now it's there's a gap back there, so it looks like it's starting to come off. So a little bit at a time, what we can do. Spin it with my hand. There it goes. There we go. We got it. Well, at least I thought we got it. All we did was break off the housing right here. Wow, that thing was under that tight. Let me grab this. Oh my lord. All I did was break the plate. So that's off. Let's look in here and see. I see there is no clips in there that I can find. It started to come, well, it didn't come off that far, but all right, well, I don't know. I mean, I hope I don't have to take this pump off, because it's such a simple fix. I know there's a clip behind here that holds the clutch on the wiring, the magnet on the magnet on, but right there is that clip for that. But there's nothing here for this guy. You can see where the bolt screws in down there. Oh, all right, I don't know. All right, I'll figure out something. Well, having said that, I guess if there's any consolation here, you can see this is wore down. This is a clutch. You can see how wore down that is. That rides in on that right there, and that is just, this part here is okay. At least it looks okay. You know, but this here has got the grooves in it. So regardless, this thing here was pretty much shot anyway. So all right, we'll continue working here. I hope I don't have to pull that compressor off, but it may, unfortunately, it may actually come to that. All right, guys, you know the old saying, sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. Well, I'll lose. Got the hose disconnected. We're just going to pull the pump up off of it. We got the Freon, the R12 out in a container. After looking at this and looking at that down there, they both need to be replaced. This is why we had such a big gap in this. So we're going to go ahead and just pull the pump off. I'm not sure if we're going to get another whole unit put on it or just try to replace this. I still got to get this here off. I still don't quite get why it won't come off. Even if I had a tool puller, one of those pullers, I don't think these threads would have been any good because they're pretty rusted out. So regardless, this had to come off. So, you know, still rocking the old auto jar wrench here. So go ahead and get these bolts out. Try to do this with one hand. I don't know how successful we'll be at this. Probably not very successful. Oh, let's set the camera down. All right, get that bolt out of there. Pretty long. Already got the bottom ones all out. Now, let me give you a little tip. Before you take those bottom ones out there, take your hoses off, because once you get your hoses off, it's a lot easier to get those bolts out. You got all this room right here. Those hoses are in the way. Just so you know, if you're working on an Xterra, so let's go ahead and get this one off here. All right, there it is. I'm going to set the camera down and grab that.
Alright, get that bolt out here. Actually, see how long these bolts are. You can see that corrosion that gets on these bolts. This becomes a problem sometimes. They could really get in there, get into a bind. Alright, we'll put our tool up, and here comes our compressor. Make sure our camera's in focus. Oh, it's a heavy little thing, I'll tell you that. So yeah, this thing's wore out. It's done. It's a shame because the compressor itself cools the car just fine, but wow, look at those gaps, or ridges I should say. And here is that. This is why we had such a big gap. Now I still can't figure out why this won't come off. We got this clip here, but this clip holds this here on. The only thing holding this centerpiece on, the clutch, is a bolt. That is not a clip there. So we'll have to see if we can get this off here somehow. Since I've got the compressor off, maybe I can put a claw tool in here and put a small clamp on here and pull it off a little bit. I'd like to save this compressor. It's still good. So anyway, we'll come back here a little bit later and let you know the fix. But there's one more look at it. This is why we had such a big gap and it wasn't kicking on until I took a hammer and tapped it. Alright. Alright guys, so here's where I'm at right now. Basically got the compressor tore completely down. Basically what I did was pulled the snap ring out of here, which is right there, got that off, and this will just tap off. I was a little concerned that that wouldn't slide over that broken piece, but the clearance, man, it was just enough to get that off of there. And then these three screws here, these things took a while to get out. I had to tap on them, put down force on them, turn them, and eventually broke it loose. Took a while, but got them off. This is the magnet housing here for the clutch. And I'm still trying to figure out a way to get something on that shaft to pull that off there. I might have to take a cutting wheel and cut a slice on that side, a slice on that side, and slide something over that and get one of my little 3-claw pullers and see if I can just pull that off, because the compressor itself is good. I hate to, throw it away, but I'll look online and check around tomorrow, see what's cheaper, if I could just replace the whole compressor with another clutch, or if I can find another clutch for $20 or $30. I mean, that would be the way to go. I went online and these things are about $80 still, so they're not very cheap. So this is where I'm at now. So I'll try that. If that doesn't work, then may just have to get another compressor. I used one or something, but yep, probably should have pulled it off first and try to get that off with a tool, but I don't even see any threads in those holes there, so I don't know. Alright guys, next day, of course it's raining, had to come inside, but we did make a little headway, and here's what I had to do. I have a puller kit, ball joint puller kit, has all kind of cool little things. I actually made this here work, this little guy, and would you know, I had to take a bolt and kind of get the threads thinned out, or mess up the threads inside here, so I can pull this out, and would you know, I got it off. And there's what I did. I just cut some slices in the side of it where this would grip on it, pulled it off, and that shaft still fought me, but it eventually came loose, and you can see the threads down in there. They go down there quite a bit, but the pump still is in good shape, and I can turn it with my fingers, no problem. Of course, I've got it all plugged up right now with some tissues and stuff. So now the big question is, do I find, oh by the way, this did have these two little shims behind it here. So the big question now becomes, do I get a clutch kit and put on it, or do I get another used pump with the clutch kit and everything together? But the thing is, if I get a used one, as the rain starts to fall, yes sirree, it is raining. I can get one of these at the parts store for 35 bucks, but the problem is this here piece is worn down too. So I really need this and this. I really don't need the magnet, the wire. So
I'm not sure what we're going to do, so regardless, if I broke this or didn't break it, it's still not usable ever again. So, shouldn't have those grooves on it. And the bearing is okay. I mean, there's no problem with the bearing. So if I can get one of these, I'll be okay. Now, I went on eBay. I can get this whole thing for $80, but I can buy a brand new pump that's remanufactured for $120. So, where I live, I have very few options for parts stores, junkyards, I should say, for this. So this is where I'm at. But basically, this is how you take apart this Nissan Xterra pump. This is the manufacture date on this Nissan is 5/02. They wanted to know that for some reason, but 2000 to 2005. Apparently, they're all the same. And some Nissan Frontiers work. And that's about it. That's that. So I'm glad I got that off. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So we'll put this baby here back to bed, clean it up, and I'll see you guys back here a little bit later. Like I said, I'm not sure what we're gonna do yet, but we'll see. All right, everyone. So we left off, I don't know, a few weeks ago. We have a new fix. Went on Amazon, looked around, went on Google, went on eBay, and it was just as easy for me to go ahead and buy a complete compressor with the clutch built in already with it, because by the time I bought the clutch kit, it was almost 2/3 of the price of a remanufactured compressor with a brand new clutch on it. And it comes with all the oil. It's already got oil in it and everything. And I think this is the better route to go. There it is. How nice is that? Let's go ahead and tear the plastic here off real quick. Look at it real quick. This is $110 free shipping. So, and you can see the gap on this clutch. Nothing like mine. And it's already sealed. All I got to do is put my oil in it. I've got to put my little that guy right there in, the little sensor. And other than that, just bolt it up with 4 bolts, and we will be done. So if you're having an issue like mine, you might want to check your clutch first. But anyway, there's a bottom look at it. And let's flip it over here for you. Oh, it's heavy. There's the back of it. So, and also, to make the job complete, I went ahead and bought some air filters for the cabin. We'll put those in, and we should be good to go. So what I'm going to do next is go ahead and put this on. I'm not going to show you how to do it. Pretty easy to do. Then we'll put some 134A in it. That's what was in it before. Let's get her done. We got the parts off of the old one, and we got them on here. These bolts right here, you have to take a screwdriver, stick down on them, and tap them with a hammer. Just keep tapping until they start to break loose. They are a little fickled, so have some patience. But I got both of those out of that compressor, and I got the sensor out. And I did have to cut the wire because the one that came with this one here had this on it. So I had to connect it and put some heat shrink on here, piece of solder, and it's all good. So just like the other side. So all we got to do now is go ahead and stick it in, and all we got to do now is go ahead and bolt it on. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, she looks beautiful. We got her bolted in. All we got to do is hook up the 2 lines and put some R12 in it. I'm always amazed at the engineering and castings of these things. It's just simply amazing what they can do nowadays. But she looks good. So bolts are 14 mil, and they were easy to put in. So let's go ahead and get the belt on and the hoses and see how she's going to do. All right, guys, she's all together and she's cold. The humidity level out here today is only like 12%. Dew point is, I don't know, like 15 degrees. It's a really low humidity day. There's not much condensation here, but you can see we've got about where it should be. The sticker on the hood says about, this here is a 12-ounce can or a 340-gram can. The sticker says about 18 ounces, so I think we're right about there. I used 1 can and some of this, and I don't have a thermometer to put up here, but it's cold.
So it worked out pretty good. So all we got to do now is put our cabin filters in, and we are done. And I'll drive this a while, and I'll play around with this some more to get exactly where I want it. But I think it's probably okay where it is now. So, all right, mission accomplished. All right, so we're gonna finish up our job here. We've got all these screws out, and this is how you get into the cabin filters. Let me put this off to the side. Oh, there's a lot of junk in there. And they're right here. So pull these out, and you can see these things are pretty bad shape. There's little arrows on these to tell you which way the flow is there. You can kind of see that. There's that one, and here's that one. Yep, pretty shot. Pretty dirty. So we will say goodbye to you and hello with the new. Here's our new one. Airflow. So this one here goes on the bottom. And all my wires look good from when I changed the thermocouple. I'll stick this in here like this. One. And two. Airflow. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. I might be able to. There we go. There we go. All right, how about that? Arrows, flow is that way. There's my arrow there. Flow is that way. And we're done. How about that? So, going through all this just to get the air conditioner working in the Xterra. Oh well, what are you going to do? You know, the car does have 200,000 miles on it. It may run another 50,000 miles. So there we go, guys. We'll go ahead and put this on, and we'll wrap this video up. Alright guys, so that's it. If you like this video, say hello and let me know where you're watching from, but it should be a pretty good car for this winter. Everything's working great. The only thing I got left to do is to go ahead and change out that driver's side airbag. I'll try to clear the code, but it comes back on. This will be the third airbag I put in this thing. So, hey guys, thanks for watching, and until my next video, I'll see you later.